This remake's opening moments subverted my expectations in many ways. From the opening moments to the chaotic encounter in the Pueblo and more, these are my first impressions of the Resident Evil 4 Remake Chainsaw demo. Before we get into it in detail, I'd like to remind you that the giveaway I have for the Deluxe edition of Resident Evil 4 Remake will be ending in just over a week on Monday, March 20th at 11:59 p.m. EST. There will be 2 winners selected in this giveaway, so enter if you haven't already done so by clicking the link in the description or in the pinned comment. And with that, let's dive into the meaty details of this demo, shall we? Immediately from the start, we are treated to some much appreciated backstory into protagonist Leon Kennedy, as he underwent some very intense training as a Secret Service agent of the US government. Seeing him relive those horrors of his first day on the job as a Raccoon City police officer in Resident Evil 2, in conjunction with his intense training under the government with the likes of Jack Krauser, subverted my expectations of what I thought I would experience in this new RE4 Remake Chainsaw demo. It was an awesome change over the original RE4, and although there will definitely be more to see in the actual opening of this remake, players unfamiliar with Leon and the previous games will be able to better piece together the narrative of this 4th mainline entry. The quick cut to black gives us an idea of what we'd eventually see in the full version of the game, as Leon banters with the 2 police officers within the police car as he is taken to the remote location of Spain where the setting of the game takes place. Before we get into the gameplay of the demo, a quick mention of the game's 6 controller setups deserves some due praise. Players can select a variety of control methods that mimic the more recent Resident Evil games, along with other configurations closer to other third-person action games, and even controls resembling the classic Resident Evil 4. Great stuff by Capcom putting these features in the game. Now, let's talk about some gameplay, as this is really the most apparent change to this remake, right? Immediately upon leaving the police car, we have an extended walk to the first GANADO house. We can see some rotting carcasses about the walk to the house, a nice touch to set the mood. Now, on the outside, the house may appear rather similar to the first GANADO house of the original, but upon entering it, this house contains many more rooms. Upon entering the room on the right here, I found this iconic symbol, and I especially like that it translated the Spanish language of this item into whatever language you play the game on. I also really like the first cutscene with Leon's initial encounter with the GANADO. I just love how the camera reveals the GANADO idly standing next to Leon as he enters the room. This scene is really well done here and showcases the training Leon has undergone all those years after the incident in Raccoon City. Instead of fighting the GANADO in gameplay right then and there, I especially like that we had to dig deeper into the house, find the grisly fate of one of the police officers, and then encounter the next snapped GANADO shortly afterward in the cellar. This is where the combat comes in. Being able to move and shoot Leon's guns is immediately different from the original, an awesome change that elevates the experience as a whole and is much appreciated since the enemies are much more agile. I traced my steps back into the initial room of the house, and there were 2 GANADOs in there. As I delivered them swift justice, one of them was still alive and I clumsily was able to knife the GANADO down manually, and to my surprise, did so without draining the knife's durability. It seems like only stealth kills, chainsaw parries, breaking from grapples, fallen enemy strikes, and the like are what depletes the knife's durability. Golf clap on my end. I won't cover much of the trek to the opening Pueblo section, as we've discussed that in great detail, including our poor wolf friend dead by this bear trap, and apparently me. Instead, let's get into the meat and bones of this demo. It's the Pueblo. Yup, it's the Pueblo, still as menacing and eerie as I remember it. Upon opening the gates, this right here should give you all that you need to know about the shit that's about to go down. It's glorious. Off the bat, I veer left and took out Grandma here with a stealth kill. I wonder just how far the stealth kills go here in this remake. Is it possible to stealth kill your way through this opening section? If you did it, link your video down in the comments below if you managed to pull it off. Before we really start raising hell, I noticed that this one locked drawer here in this remake requires a key to open it. Has anyone been able to find this key in the demo? Help a brother out and let me know in the comments if you found it. In this same house here, I was able to find some resources that are vital for crafting, like mixing with gunpowder to make handgun or shotgun ammo, for example. This brings me to one thing I don't particularly like, is the way we can craft. I wish that, in addition to seeing this selection of items as we see it here, we would be able to combine items the traditional way, like the green and red herbs like in the previous games. The lack of the combine screen is a little odd, even though you can simply just select what you want to craft from the available selection. Just a small nitpick on my end, even though I completely admit that having a clear list of craftables here in this remake is definitely handy. The combat in this game is amazing and makes clear improvements over the original in every way. I love how Leon is much more agile now, and even though he may not be able to sprint real fast, he is still easily faster than his movement speed in the original. This helps a lot, because the enemies in the remake are no joke. They are much more of a threat this time around, as they are a lot more resilient and are quick to keep up the pace with you. Now, let's talk about Dr. Salvador here. Man, this guy is a work of art. Seriously, this guy can really take a beating. I love how my several rounds of shotgun blast barely phased this guy. He is much more of a formidable threat this time around, and once spawned into the map, either by triggering him in this house or after enough time passes, you can hear his revs from across town. I especially liked climbing this tower here, and as stated in this intro of the video about subverting expectations, holy crap, I was not expecting literally the entire floor to collapse as I plummet several stories down nearly on top of this dude. Seriously, this guy ain't messing around. Another thing I didn't particularly like was here where I crossed into the barn where the cow was, firing away at Dr. Salvador as he approached me from the village center side, only to cut away to a cutscene on the other side of this house here as I moved away from the barn. I do appreciate that the developers increased the urgency here by making previous areas inaccessible to pass through as Dr. Salvador leaves wreckage in his wake, but teleporting him to various areas of the map in an immersion-breaking cutscene is not the way to do it in my opinion. If, on the other hand, this were emergent gameplay that happened organically without cutscenes, it would be far more effective and, frankly, more fair to the player. That gripe aside, this entire encounter was so much more intense and satisfying than the original Pueblo section. The enemies attack with much more ferocity and in much greater numbers. I mean, look at this. What the f***? Upon hearing the bells as the gameplay faded to cutscene, I was in awe of what the heck just transpired. Killing Dr. Salvador is one thing, and collecting his 3,000 pesetas, but handling the rest of the villagers in this remake to make it to the bell was an exercise of good planning and route optimization. Hearing that bingo line at the end was the perfect ribbon on this excellent first taste of what Resident Evil 4 Remake has in store for us in just 2 short weeks.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
With my first impressions out of the way, I want to know from you all what you thought of the demo. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are some things you'd like to see improved upon in the final release? I want to hear more about it in the comments. Make sure to watch this video to see my full first playthrough of the demo. Stay tuned to the channel for more Resident Evil 4 Remake updates pre- and post-launch, as there is still so much to cover. Thanks for all the support, and I will see you real soon in the next video. Peace.